specific team while we get started here. I know it's so late, so late, and I'm so excited for this. Okay, so let's just dive on in. I'm so hyped about this. I just was thinking about just how, you know, we talk about 2.0 teams all the time, and oftentimes, sometimes, like me talking for myself, sometimes I just feel like alone, like it's me and my 2.0 team. So I messaged Claire, Brittney, and Alissa because I just look up to them and they just kill it. And we all have growing, you guys are all just growing so fast. And so I was like, what if we just kind of came together and did like a pick me up? End of the month, pick me up, halfway through the year, kind of pick me up. And I know a lot of people have been either loudly or quietly been yearning for this. And so I'm excited about this because we're all four going to talk about just whatever's on our heart right now. And I love when we do this and it's kind of just at random because it's whatever we feel in this moment. And so I pray that like during the next 45 minutes or 30 or however long this ends up being, I just pray that this is just everything you need. Because I don't know about you guys, and I'm not going to make this anything negative, but I've had some emotional conversations with some of you guys in the sense of just feeling like a little tired. And again, I don't want to like make this anything less than positive, but I just feel like it's important sometimes to just address that in the sense of, guys, we've had a really good year and now it's time, it's like halfway through the year and it's like, we kind of got to reboot and like get on, and then soon it'll be 2021. And so I just wanted just to tell you, if you're feeling tired or you're feeling like, well, things are getting a little bit slower, or man, this is the first month I haven't signed 50 bajillion customers, like whatever those feelings might be, they're normal and they're natural. And I'll be honest in saying that for myself, my numbers aren't where I want them to be, but I feel this shift. And I just got back from vacation after just unplugging and I'm just ready to go all in, you guys. So I just want to cover a portion of host to post real quick and then just pass the mic because I just selfishly am excited to hear from them myself. But you guys, I just wanted to talk about host post because I personally am getting a bunch of questions about just host to post in itself. And I don't want to train you guys on that because I think you guys understand the concept, but I want to remind you guys because like I said, I'm just going to base it off of what I've been hearing a lot from my specific team. And what I'm hearing is, this specific one isn't working anymore, or you've exhausted it, or your friends list is jank, or whatever it is. And you guys, it's funny because our 2.0 teams are so fresh and new. And sometimes I forget like, oh my gosh, of course you don't understand necessarily the things that maybe I haven't told you. And so what I want to tell you when it comes to host posts is sometimes it doesn't necessarily stop working, but we have to a little bit like reinvent the wheel and switch it up. And what I've loved by talking to Alissa and Claire and Brittney is I'm finding ones that are outside of my norm that work just as good, but I had my head down and I was so focused on what was working. And then eventually that slowed down and I got a little panicky in the sense of like, I need a new one. So you guys, what I'm excited about is we have a really great TFX one, and I'll post all of the wording for this once I'm done speaking, but we have a really great TFX host to post. We have a really great coffee host to post. We have a really great hair, skin, and nail host to post. And we have a really good DT host to post. And this gets me so hyped because it's like, there's a variety, you guys. So if you started off this year with maybe like me, I did TFX all the time and I signed 50 plus customers every month. And then in July, it's almost like it just went like it just stopped. TFX just completely stopped working. And I just really dove into coffee, and coffee is my number one right now. It's just important for you to figure out, where are you at in your business right now? Is host to post slow for you? Is it really host to post that is slow? Or maybe you're not getting enough up. Figure out what it is. And if it is where host to post is the issue, maybe it's time that you switch from TFX to hair, skin, and nails, or hair, skin, and nails to coffee. But I'm telling you guys, I have been literally rotating through all three of them and they're all working. My specific issue is I'm not getting 10 up a day. And I know that's the issue. And so what I just wanted to quickly cover is just making sure that you guys are aware of your network and aware of what is working and what isn't working. And so for me right now, my issue is I'm having if I could be really vulnerable with you guys, I personally am having an extremely hard time getting 10 host posts up. Really hard time. And that's just not normal for me. Very odd. So what I've been working on is I'm making it like a project in the sense of like product host post is like at the bottom of my priorities. Right now I'm doing the giveaway post. I'm having as many people on my friends list, hopefully like new people, like I want new fresh blood on my network. I'm having them turn around and do my giveaway. And the reason why is I'm not signing a bunch of people that way, but I'm getting people onto my network, because that's my issue, is I was having the same people post over and over again, and now they don't want to post for me anymore. So anyways, I just want to just start off by saying that host to post does still work, and I'm so excited, and I still have a lot of people on my team that are mass enrolling, but right now I'm like, I got to figure out what's going on, because I'm not where I want to be. My numbers are significantly lower than normal. What's the issue? Well, it's not host to post for me. I know what works. Mine is the homework. So with that being said, just remember, you guys, it's all about our mindset on it. And sometimes, I mean, host to post is so simple, but we have to break it down, and there is homework. And I know, like Alissa, I always see her like bumping this video. She had me post this video on her team page just talking about the homework. And when I say the word homework, I mean, like, you guys, it's more than just getting the host post up. You have to consistently get new people on your Facebook every day. You have to consistently be posting. You have to be interacting. I don't tell you these things to be like, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of freaking work. I don't mean it like that. I just mean for host to post to continue to work, you just have to have fresh faces. You have to be interactive. You just have to do all of the things so that it never slows down. And I just dropped the ball in a couple of those aspects, but I'm aware, and now I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to figure it out. So I just wanted to talk about that, get us started with that, in the sense of, if you're on here and prior to this, you were like, man, host to post is just really crappy lately. It's not. Honestly, again, if we're being honest, it's probably just your network right now. And the great thing about knowing that is you have control over that. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. And for me, it's probably been 4 days of me literally just doing partnered up, partnered up, partnered up. And I know I'm getting close to a blow up. I know I am. But I just wanted to start off by saying that I know that wasn't anything crazy, but just that, and then posting, and then just being consistent. And then I'll just say this is the last thing. I also knew with myself, and again, figure out who you are on here. We are all so different, and we get motivated by different things. And for me, I'm so in tune with myself and knowing like what's the missing piece. Like if I'm not really feeling hot and awesome right now, like what's going on? And for me, and it's funny because my word for this year is discipline. And in this July, I have been lacking discipline like crazy, but it's okay. I'm aware of that, so I can control it. But for me, knowing that I'm missing out on the discipline part, I needed to get out trackers again. So maybe that's you guys. And here's what I want to say about the trackers. There are a million bajillion different ways to track your host to post. That is great that we have so many resources, but if you're anything like me, like sometimes a confused mind says no. Don't be overwhelmed with the amount and the different ways. What works for you guys? Honestly, I haven't printed off a tracker in months. I have a notebook, and whatever I'm feeling, I make my own. Sometimes I don't need to write down to friend 25 people. Sometimes I don't need to write down, make sure you get 10 host posts up. Whatever I'm missing, that's what my tracker is based on. So I hope you guys can take that and feel like, okay, this feels a lot more stress-free because it got a little crazy. Some trackers have like a lot of tasks. I'm not knocking them because some of you guys need those, but some of you don't. So figure out what you need, get a fresh notebook, and make your own tracker, you guys. Lately, my tracker has been keeping spots open for the people that say yes to host post, keeping spots open for enrollments, and keeping spots open for potentials, so that I know if this is a blank page, I'm not doing enough. I want a lot of new potentials, I want a lot of new enrollments, and I want a bunch of people saying yes to hosting a post for me. Okay, so I just wanted to start off by saying all of that. Like I said, I know that was like super short, fast, and simple, but that's what's been on my heart, and I'm getting so many questions about host to post and just a little bit of discouragement in that. So hopefully you can leave this Zoom feeling like, okay, so it does still work. I just might be the issue, but I have control over that, and I can switch it up.
Oh, I love that so much, Rach. Thank you. What an amazing opening. You guys, when it comes to, I just have to say this because I know, speaking for myself, whenever host to post was a thing, I really put it off for quite a long time. And what I found, why I personally did, is because I was getting so overwhelmed with all of the info, okay, all of the trackers. And one thing that I do want you to understand is that when it comes to the trackers and finding a great system, perfection is a form of procrastination. Okay. And that for me, I'm a little green. I'm mostly red, but I do have like that sense where I feel like it's got to be perfect. So I was always waiting for like the perfect tracker or whatever it was, but that was a form of procrastination. And so I just want to encourage you to do what I have done and just go all in with Host to Post. And as you do it, once you do take that action and you put in the steps, that's when you're going to learn what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how are you going to track it, like what's your best system. You're not going to find a system if you're not doing it, right? So you have to put the action in and really start just diving into Host to Post. Like Rachel said, start with the product, okay? I know for me personally, what is working the most right now is a distributor Host to Post. And Claire is going to put all of my verbiage into the chat here for you guys so that you have that. But I've signed 7 and I'm getting ready to put in my 8th distributor for the month just from doing distributor Host to Post. And I've never done this post before at all. And I just post this. Claire just threw it in the chat, but I put this in there with a picture. It's just like a really awesome graphic of like a cartoon of a girl holding a phone. So it's nothing crazy. And then it just has like a few bullet points on there as well. And I just have them post this. And then like Rachel said, it can be hard some days to get 10 of them up, but give yourself some stinking grace. And if you feel like how Rachel did say at the beginning, like some of you are feeling just like a little burnt out or a little exhausted, take a stinking day. Okay. Take a day. Have some peace and quiet. You should be taking 1 day a week regardless, okay, for yourselves. Put your phone away, spend time with your family, reconnect with yourself, get some peace and quiet, get some stillness in your life. And I'm telling you, when you do that, here's what you have to understand, okay? I'm going to cast a little bit of vision here for you because we're halfway through the year, okay? So what you're doing like over the next 6 months, and if you're taking notes, I want you to write this down, okay? What I'm doing over the next 6 months is setting me up for the harvest come the new year. Okay. So you're not working right now to fill out your steps to success every single month right now. Yeah, it's amazing if you do that. But right now you're focusing on what's coming come January. And that's what you have to remember. That's why you have to stay disciplined right now for the harvest that is coming. Okay. A lot of you are planting seeds right now, and you have to continue to do that if you want to reap a harvest come the new year. We all know that's when our business booms the most. And so I want you focused on day to day of staying disciplined no matter what, okay? Set that standard for yourself. You are the one to make or break it. Okay, your team can go on without you. Your upline will keep moving forward. Now it's up to you to be disciplined for your business. And one thing too that I do want to say to you guys is, you know, when it comes to like your chart in front of you, your steps to success, we talk so often about like getting the chart filled out, getting the steps to success filled out. But I really want you guys focused on getting your one, okay? One distributor. If you guys can stay committed to doing that, and you can break down your chart to where it's one distributor, that is going to start being the building blocks for your business, okay? You don't have to fill out your chart tonight. You don't have to fill out your chart tomorrow. But I do want you focused on going after your one, okay? And that should take a little bit of pressure off of you, because I am telling you what, you guys, if you focus on changing one life at a time, help them do the exact same thing, that's what builds a business. And that's what builds a strong business. When you start getting those wins under your belt. But you have to commit to getting Host to Post up, whether it's 10 a day or 10 every other day, whatever works for your lifestyle, and go the extra mile, okay? This might mean waking up a little bit early, going to bed a little bit later. But here's the thing, is that you can break your days down into 15-minute increments, 10-minute increments, 20-minute increments. You don't have to sit on your phone for an entire hour and do only Host to Post. You can sit on your phone, set a timer for 20 minutes, okay? And get some Host to Post messages up. And let that be enough for that time, okay? And here's the other thing too, is that when it comes to doing the business Host to Post, Claire put all of my verbiage into the chat. So the first two that you guys are going to see is when someone messages me info, I send them the one that says, hey there, I'm so excited to connect with you. That's what I send them if they're texting me, okay? If they're just commenting on someone's post that they're interested, that's when I send that I saw that you were interested in making some extra income. So those are the two, really the two main different ones that I'm sending out. But if they're texting me info and I'm sending them the connect message, I'm so excited to connect with you. Whenever they are messaging me back, they're telling me their name, they're telling me where they're from, and they're telling me why they want some extra income. So when I'm responding back to them, I always, if they have an iPhone, every single time, no matter what, I will voice message them. And if it's someone named Amanda and she's a nurse, but she wants some extra money to pay off student loans, you guys, all that I would say in my response back to her in a voice message is, hey, Amanda, I am so excited to be connecting with you. I have loved working off of my phone. Just the freedom of time that it has given me is such a blessing. I would absolutely love to tell you more about what I do so that we can start paying off your student loans. And that is all that you have to do, you guys, is send that small response and they'll message back and say, perfect, sounds great. And then Claire is putting all of that verbiage that I say next about the business, kind of what we do a little bit. And if they have questions, here's the thing, if they have questions and you don't know the answer, that's okay. But that's where you would go into your team chat and ask what you should respond with, or ask your upline what you should respond with, because we are here to help you seal the deal. We are here to help you get your wins under your belt, to get your enrollments in. But consistency daily is going to be the key, okay? Just like Rachel said, adding to your network every single day. And again, this, like, we are going to compress time here. This doesn't mean you're adding for a stinking hour. This means, again, you can set a timer. You can set a timer and add for 20 solid minutes, okay? So maybe some of you need to get your days reorganized a little bit, or wake up a little bit earlier, or stay up a little bit later, but figure out like where your time is being spent. And I always love doing this with people, because if you can log for a few days where you're really spending your time, you're going to realize that you have pockets of time that are being filled with something that is not income producing, that isn't helping you become the next best version of yourself, that isn't growing your business. Okay, so maybe you need to spend a few days really looking at where your time is being spent. And even too, Atomic Habits is one of my favorite books, but I really love that he's like, reward yourself. If you do something, like, let's say you follow your routine for an entire week, you're getting your 6 list done, you're getting your tracker done, you're doing the things, you can have a little reward for yourself, set a little goal for you. Like maybe it's going out and getting a new shirt, or maybe it's like watching an episode of Netflix finally, like, but make a reward for yourself that really wants you to push that extra mile and stay disciplined, and don't reward yourself until you get it done. And I think that just making sure that you're starting with your one. Okay, if you're taking notes, write down, go get my one. This starts with one person. You're on here because one person, okay? You started with yourself. Now go help someone else begin their journey as well. You don't have to go and sign 7 distributors, 10 distributors, 15 distributors. It starts with one person. Get that win under your belt. Once they're in the system, you know what you're going to do? You're going to go make $150 by helping them gather their first 6 customers. And that's the win under their belt and yours. They unlock a shopping spree, you get a $150 fast start bonus. It's a double win, okay? So right now I'm reading a book called The 5 a.m. Club, but I wanted to read this to you guys. This book has honestly just changed my life. But one thing that I was reading today, I was like, oh my gosh, this applies so much to our business. But he says, it's like a food recipe, okay? What you're doing every day for your business, it's like a food recipe, right? Follow the steps, you'll get the results. Okay, that means getting on the calls. That means completing your 6 lists. That means doing your personal development. That means staying disciplined every single day. This is a recipe. Every day you are given the recipe for success in this business, okay? Follow it, you get the results. And here's what he said. He said, in amazing days create an upward spiral into amazing weeks. Amazing weeks morph into amazing months. And amazing months become amazing quarters. And amazing quarters yield amazing years and decades, and ultimately an amazing lifetime. So this is a compound effect. You have to don't always think right here and right now. I really want you thinking long term, especially as we're going into the last 6 months of this year, going into a new year. The work you're doing now will reflect your paycheck come January, come February, when the highest enrollments of the entire company come swooping in. You should be at the top of your top enroller list for your organization. You should be the one leading by example when it comes to that. So you have to have that projected vision, and that's what should wake you up every day. That's what should keep you on task every single day. But commit some extra time to your business right now, whether that's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Commit some extra time to your business right now, okay? And if there's an area that you don't feel super confident in, like for me, it was host to post. And here's why. It was because there was so much training, and I felt very confused. I was like, I don't even know where the heck to begin. So I took a few hours and I watched some trainings, and I just grabbed what I could from those trainings and I just made it my own. I just applied it differently for myself. So if there's an area on your 6 list, as you're going through your 6 list, if there's something that you don't feel super confident in, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you feel confident in the follow-up. We're here to help you feel confident in the host to post, and how to add to your network, and what that means, and how to make a successful post, how to do Instagram stories. So make sure that you're pinpointing on your 6 list. If there is an area that you don't feel confident in, that's where we come in, okay? But you have a harvest to reap if you stay disciplined now. Through the rest of this year, I am telling you, your business will be blessed so abundantly. And also, one thing that I did want to say is, when it comes to getting your one, okay, you bring in a distributor, you help them get their 6 customers, that's $150 in your pocket. So maybe some of you need to start setting some goals with what you're going to do with your fast starts, okay? Maybe it's paying on a bill, or it's putting gas in your car, or maybe you're going to collect your fast starts and pay for a vacation come 2021 when we can travel again, right? And you can set a small goal for what you're going to do with your fast starts. I know for me, I used to bank my fast starts and I would pay my bills with it, my electricity, my phone, my insurance, all of those things. So make sure that you understand you get $150 when you bring in a business partner and you help them get a win under their belt by helping them get their 6 loyal customers. But host to post has been so amazing for me. You guys have all of my verbiage. Like I said, make it your own if you need to, but do it right now. Be disciplined right now for the harvest that is coming. And develop a morning routine if you don't have one. Develop a nighttime routine if you don't have one. There's not a clock ticking. I think some of you think there's like this clock ticking down, but there's not. So do what needs to be done right now so that you can learn host to post, so that you can learn something from your 6 list that you don't feel confident in. Take the time to do it. Because I know for myself, if I hadn't taken the time to understand host to post and figure out what works for me, I probably wouldn't have changed 7 people's lives this month. I probably would not have signed them, right? So I want you focused on what area you can grow in that you know is working for other people. So host to post is working. So don't count yourself out, because I used to do that as well. It's working for others just as well as it could work for you if you stay disciplined, if you stay on track. So I just want you to be so laser focused on what this means building right now, going into the end of this year. What it means, the work you're putting in now is for what is coming. So don't lose sight of that. And when you have a day that you just need a stinking break, Go take a break, okay? Put your phone down. Go do something that inspires you. Go on a run. Go on a walk. Spend some time with your family. Have some peace and quiet time. That is when you're going to be recharged and excited. You have to make sure as well that you're surrounding yourself with people who are dreaming and who are hungry just like you. That's right here. That is this core group right here. Who you are surrounding yourself with is going to make it or break it for you in this business. And that's just the fact, okay? This is when you have an opportunity to lean in and to grow with people, to lean in and to learn from other people, to lean in and to ask questions. Like, when's the last time you sat down with your enroller and asked a whole bunch of questions of things you wanted to learn? Write those questions down and try to get to that, okay? Because here's the thing, this is a never ending process. You are going to be learning always, okay? From the minute you said yes until for forever, you are always going to be learning. So I want you to stay committed to being a lifelong learner of this. And just know that as long as you're willing to go the extra mile and to learn and to apply, that's when the magic happens. But I just wanted to come on here just to let you guys know that Host to Post for Distributors is working so well for me. And I'm so glad that I just took the risk and I learned it and I got uncomfortable, and I still get uncomfortable doing it. But I know that this isn't about me right now. This is about how many lives that I can impact. And so you have to just go into this as a servant and just know that you are at the right place at the right time. Now is time to get focused for what is coming in 2021, because the bus is leaving and I want you all stinking on it.
All right, guys, I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight. But one thing that Alissa said that sparked something, it wasn't in my notes, but I feel called to talk about it, is when you have that accountability partner, that person that you talk to, I cannot stress enough that there is a difference between saying, hey, I'm struggling in this area. Do you have some ideas that I could change? Versus, oh, I'm struggling in this area. And then the next thing you know, that other person says, oh my goodness, me too. Do not surround yourself with a person that sits in the valley with you. I'm telling you right now, the second that you do this, I can almost call it out. I can watch both of your businesses crumble at the exact same time. Okay. So be very, very, very careful who you use to run with. It's okay to acknowledge there's an issue, but it's not okay to let that issue become something that all of a sudden you guys have something in common. Okay. When she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, I've seen it in my 1.0 years ago, and I watched it destroy businesses, and it's not happening to you guys, because we are keeping you guys very close, very tight. And guys, I wish I had something like this. And so just realize what you're part of. Okay, so super, super excited about what I'm covering tonight. It's probably not going to be anything you've not heard, but maybe coming from me when you're not used to hearing to me. Sorry for my team that's on here. You probably already heard this stuff. But for everyone else, I hope it changes your life and changes your business. Okay, so I was tallying up in the last 3 months how many distributors I've signed. So in the last 3 months, I've signed 22. And this month it's been 5. The reason why I did the last 3 months is I wanted to see, and I went through all my list, and I wrote down how I signed them and where they came from. And it ended up breaking down into 5 categories. Number 1 was groups, meaning some of them have come from me being a fitness instructor, and I see them at my Monday night classes. Some of them have come from my doodle pages, and if you guys have followed me, you know I have a new puppy, and that's kind of all I post about. So that's kind of one section, was groups. The second section was friends. I finally had one friend decide to join me after 6 years of being my friend. Praise the Lord. It's only one person out of 22, but I wanted to acknowledge that it does happen, and sometimes it does take some time. The third category was customers that have become distributors. Okay. Some of them are Host to Post and Instagram. I gathered them together because when I was dabbling with TikTok, and I still dabble a little bit here or there, I didn't necessarily sign them from TikTok, but once I could get them to my Instagram, and you're going to see what I'm about to talk about, all these categories have one thing in common. Okay. So this other category is like post-to-post Instagram, and the last category is old distributors. So people that had joined the business before that had decided, you know what, it's game on. I'm ready to do this and I'm ready to take this seriously. Okay, so these are the 5 categories. They all, even though they're in different categories, they all came from the exact same thing. And Claire, myself, Alissa, and Rachel were part of a mastermind group. That's why we put this together. And as of last Thursday, I had signed 2 team members. And I was like bummed because I'm thinking, man, I'm all in. Like, I'm such a product of the product. Anyone that follows me know, like, I don't mess around when it comes to It Works. Like, It Works is my jam. So I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I don't feel like I dabble, you know? And then all of a sudden in our group, we talked about doing something, which was that whole just sign your one, just go sign your one. And we put together that thing that was like the 4 things that you should be doing consistently. One was when you get ready to sign a customer, ask them about the business. One was, and I don't remember all of the tips, but I know you guys all have this information, right? It came with that sign your one, and there was 4 things. One thing that Sherry Linacala told us to do, and I'm going to listen to someone in the top of the company, right? Like, I'm not above doing what people are telling me to do. I don't care how much money I make. Obviously, there's people that make more than me. One of the things that she specifically said that she told her team to do is they should be telling their story once a day, every single day. From that last call, that's exactly what I started doing. And I did take one 24-hour period off because I take a Sabbath, but really I still get my stories in because I still got my story in on Saturday, and then I still made my story on Sunday. So really my story never got forgotten. And I also do it in my stories. That is where it was crazy because that's where the 3 have come from. But I decided to look at the last 3 months just to kind of get a better idea than just 3 distributors. All 22 have come from me telling my story every single day. Now I'm going to tell you how you tell it, and I'm going to make this as quick as I can. If you do not, now Claire did a phenomenal job about on the camp, I'm drawing a blank, campsite thing. I'm horrible when I get nervous, but y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? Get the recording. She did a phenomenal job of like telling you how to tell your story, okay? But here's where some people get held up. They think once they've told their story today that you don't need to tell it tomorrow. Or you tell yourself lies of like, I don't want to brag, or I don't want to talk about the same thing every day. Will that be annoying? Well, guys, friends, let me tell you, if you're doing host to post every day, you're adding to your network every day. So those stories that you put up in your story slides, in 24 hours, they're gone. So all those people you just added, they aren't seeing them anyways. So remember, you're not posting for the ones that are annoyed. You're posting for the ones that need this. You're posting for the people like you and like me, okay? Every single day, I tell my story. Now, how do I tell my story and be creative? That's where it comes to pillars. Alissa and I did this training years ago on the pillars. I'm going to touch base on this really, really quickly. I want you all to make sure you have 5 categories of who makes you you. Mine would be something along the lines of family, faith, fitness, food, and adventures. Okay? Then once you have the 5 target areas of who makes you you, you're going to take them and you're going to divide them into 3 sections. So for instance, when it comes to the family pillar, I take the family pillar and I divide it into 3. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter. When it comes to fitness, I'm an instructor. This business has been a phenomenal accountability partner for keeping your my fitness front and center, and supplements. Okay, you're going to do that for all 5 of your pillars. The next thing you know, you will have 15 different ways to tell your story. You no longer have an excuse of, I don't want to be annoying. So if you go look at my page, you will see sometimes I tell my story, like on my anniversary, I still posted, but I used it to my advantage. We went to dinner. When we came home, we picked up Zella, so we weren't alone. So it was literally the dog, the puppy, my daughter, my husband all laying in bed before we went to bed. And I decided to snap some selfies with me in my pajamas. But guess what? I told the story. I started out about it being my anniversary because I knew that would hook them. And then I followed up about when we met. He was an electrician. I was a single mom. And then I told my story. The next day, I told my story from the perspective of me being a single mom, but now being a mom of 2. Do you see how once you decide who you are, the people you want to connect to? Now, if you struggle finding your pillars, I want to challenge you. What's your hobby? What are the things that you love? And if you can find 3 or 4 pillars, but you're struggling finding this last one, I want to challenge you on something. If you feel bored, if things are getting kind of stale, I want you to ask for your 5th one. Who do you want to become? It doesn't have to be who you are now. It can be something that you want to go from point A to point B. Watch how inspirational it is for you to come out and say, this is an area I'm struggling in, but I'm not struggling in a negative way. I'm struggling in a way that I no longer want to be here. This is where I want to go, and I'm about to take you guys on a ride. So watch. And I actually just made a post like this not too long ago. And it blew up because people naturally, what's funny is they're more, I don't want to get on a tangent here, but watch. When you see someone post something negative, do you see how it gets so many more comments? Or when someone says they're struggling, it gets so many more comments. But if you have like Miss Independent Woman saying like, no, I'm not, like, you're not going to bring me down, it like gets no views. What I've done a phenomenal job of, I feel like this is where I flourish. I don't flourish many areas, but this is what I do a good job in, is being relatable. I have no problem telling you about my junk, but I'm not going to tell you about my junk in a way that I'm going to sit in a valley. I'm going to tell you that life is hard, and here's what I'm doing to overcome it. Then I hook them with my junk, because that's really what they're there for. They want to be like, me too, me too, me too. But I also want to be an inspiration and change their life. Okay, so here's my last tip. So I tell my story once a day on my newsfeed. And actually, I just challenged my team. I haven't done it for today. It's supposed to be my last post for the day. So before I go to bed, I will make that post. I make 3 posts a day. That's the way I work my business. I always have, and it works for me. The other thing is I tell my stories through my stories a couple different ways. One of them, sometimes I'll just go to my story and I'll just like talk. Okay, so I know I have a lot of new followers on here, blah, blah, blah. I kind of want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know you see me like mixing my coffee every morning, but reality was I was a single mom. A stranger on Facebook reached out to me. Like, I make it short and sweet. Sometimes I will add text on top of my story, even though I'm talking, because some people, let's say they're at work, they're not supposed to be on their phones. They're not listening to your words, but they're clicking and like they're still reading. So if you can put some words there, you can still grab onto them. And then my last way, and I actually put one slide up. I'm planning on finishing this before I go to bed, but I haven't completely finished it yet, but you'll get an idea. And sometimes I tell my story like this. I just take pictures and then I tell my story with words. So this says, I joined for this boy right here. And then my next slide says, I had low confidence, but I was also tired of being broke. So I decided to say yes. And then obviously I haven't finished it yet because I decided, I jumped on here after a training, but I will also tell my stories that way too, through pictures. So there you have it. That's how I've signed distributors, is by doing what the other top income earners said to do. I just decided to be super consistent with it.
Oh, I love that so much. I love focusing on telling your story. And I just think that is so powerful. And if you guys weren't able to watch summer camp, one thing that I said about telling your story is that like 80% of your story, just like Britt said, should be taking place like before your business. So I know that obviously you're all on our 2.0, so you're new-ish, right? You haven't been in for years and years. You haven't been in for a super long time. The bulk of the story that you can share has already happened before you joined the business. Where you're at, why you needed a business. Like, if you know why you needed this business, then you can tell somebody else why they need this business. That's all you need to be able to really tell your story. So I love that, Brittney. Thank you so much. I love that we're all on here and that we get to learn from different leaders, and that my team gets to hear from you guys from different leaders, and hopefully it's a blessing to your teams to hear from different leaders. I just think it's so cool to be able to hear these different perspectives. And I was just saying to a couple of my girls, I was like, I just can't deliver like the passion and intensity that Britt can deliver. Like, so I just love that they're getting to hear from you, because I'm not as like powerful as you are. And so they were like loving your power. And I'm like, I don't have that. So I love that we're able to share that and just share with everybody. I wanted to, if we have time, I'm just going to share really quickly. And then I kind of wanted to circle around and just do everybody's like few second or minute story, just because I think that's so powerful. And I know that when I was getting started, when I was building my business, it was so like, it just gave me so much hope to hear other people's stories and to get to relate to different people. And I know like for my team, you hear my story all the time, but Alyssa's story is different than mine, and Britt's story is different than mine, and Rachel's story is different than mine. And we're all different, and it's amazing to see that we can all come here and have our lives changed by this business. So my very quick story is that I am a mom of 4. I got married when I was 18 years old, and by the time I was 25, I had 4 kids. And I dropped out of college to marry my husband, and I didn't have a degree. I didn't have anything that would qualify me to make a good amount of money in the real world. But my husband was working super long hours, and I really just wanted him home more. I just wanted to be with him. I was like, I didn't marry this guy. I didn't fall in love and marry this guy to never see him. I fell in love and married him so we could do life together. And so I wanted to find a way that would enable us to do life together. And so when I found this business and I realized that I could build it entirely from my phone while I was being a full-time mom and a present wife and living my life in every single moment, I jumped at it and I enrolled with Alissa and reached out to her. And I love you guys. I had you guys in the comments, and Britt, I don't know if you saw because you were talking, but I said, what category did you guys all come from? And it was so cool to hear your different responses. Like, some of you were customers before, some of you were on Instagram, some of you were former distributors. Like, I just love hearing where we all came from. And yeah, this business changed my life. I replaced my husband's income in 4 months. And then in 6 months, we were making more than I ever thought we would be able to earn at any job. And now I'm about to hit my 5-year anniversary, and it's only gotten better, and we've only learned more and grown more and had more freedom. And we're just like, now we're starting to homeschool. We just decided to become homeschool parents this fall. And so there's always like these new adventures that this business enables us to have and gives us that option. Like, we were able to just say, we're going to start homeschooling. And we made the decision in like 2 days, and we get that kind of freedom because of this business. So whatever that dream is that you guys are working for, make sure that you have it written down. Make sure that you always know what you're dreaming for so you can work for it. Okay. What I really want to talk to you guys tonight about is momentum. So, you know, Alissa referenced a little bit about how the beginning of the year is always really like high for us, and it's high enrollments. And I realized like some of you maybe haven't been through the full cycle of a year yet in the business. And so you haven't totally experienced kind of the peaks and flows that are normal for business. And I remember having a conversation with Alissa. I'm trying to remember when it was. It was probably my first full year in the business. Like, I probably was coming up on like a year and a half in the business or something like that. And I remember saying to her, like, why is it a little bit slower right now? Like, what's going on? And she was like, that's business. Business has peaks and valleys and ebbs and flows. And I remember when she said that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, that makes so much sense that business has these peaks and valleys. But what I realized and what she taught me is that, but if you stay consistent through it all, then you will always be at the highest part of the peak and also the highest part of the valley, right? Like, if you think of a graph and how it goes, like, you will stay riding at the top of the wave if you stay consistent with your work all throughout it. So I want to talk to you guys about 3 things: movement, momentum, and motivation. And my 2.0, we talked a little bit last Monday about this. So some of this is a refresher course for you, but it's something I've been chewing on all week. So hopefully you won't mind a little bit of repetition in this. So I had an aha moment this week with this. And that's that most people have these in the opposite direction. Most people wait until they're motivated to pick up momentum and then to really get their movement going in their business, okay? So most people have it in that order. But we need to actually flip it in this order, because this is the way that it goes. Number 1, you move. You take action. You start posting. You do your host of posts. You follow up with people. You check in with people. So number 1, you take movement. You move your feet. Think about when you're working out. When I've been running every morning. When I go for a run, I wake up in the morning, and the last thing I want to do is go for a run. But I get out and I get to the trail, and the first thing I do, while I still feel miserable, is I start moving. I pick up my pace. I start moving. And then once I start moving, I gain a little bit of momentum. Then my body picks up all of that, you know, whatever physics, I'm not very sciencey, but whatever, it all starts firing together and I pick up momentum. And then my breath starts to run, my heart gets a little bit elevated and I feel good. And I start to feel those endorphins flowing and I feel good. I get some momentum. And after the momentum comes and my body's in that pattern, you know you have momentum because if you suddenly were to stop running, you would like jolt because you had momentum. So you're in that momentum. And then once I get the momentum and the breeze is flowing, I can hear the birds singing, it's the morning, the sun's rising, I'm moving. Now all of a sudden I am motivated for my run. Now I'm enjoying it. I'm in my rhythm, I'm loving it, I'm having a good time, I'm feeling motivated. So how many of you wait to feel motivated to gain momentum and then to start moving on your daily tasks with your business? That is the natural thing that we just think is supposed to happen. We think we're supposed to feel motivated, we're supposed to feel inspired, so we wait for that. But if I waited to feel motivated to go for a run, I would never go for a run. I would just lay in bed all day because that's easier, right? That's comfortable. But if I am obedient and I start moving, I pick up my momentum and then I find myself feeling motivated. So how does that translate into your business? Number one, when you get up in the morning, when you have that time set aside, that 60 minutes, that 30 minutes, whatever it is, you just start moving. You just do the things. And sometimes it feels robotic and it doesn't feel fun and it feels just like deflating, like, oh, I don't want to sit here and ask people to host a post. Like, what if somebody rejects me? What if somebody says no? But what if somebody says yes? I just heard Pam Souter say today on a live video, she said, you know, what if you were messaging people until someone rejected you? And then somebody rejected and somebody said no, they didn't want to do the host to post, or they didn't want to order the hair, skin, nails, or they didn't want to join the business. And then you walked away because you felt dejected. But the next person that you would have talked to that would have signed in your business would have gone emerald in 2 weeks and changed your whole business and brought in tons of customers. Like, what if you had stopped asking people right when that happened? So number one, movement. Number two, momentum. Number three, motivation. Now I want to talk to you about one other thing, and that is, do you ever have a break in your momentum? You go on vacation. I don't know about you guys, but 4th of July week was a total break in my momentum. I had an amazing June. I was signing left and right, was feeling good. I was in a good rhythm. And then the 4th of July hit and I had family come stay from out of town. We did the fireworks. We did the whole thing. We had people in our house and I lost that momentum. So when there's a break in movement, it also breaks our momentum, right? When we come to a stop, it breaks everything. But what do you do to get back out of that? You have to move. But sometimes it's going to take you a while, and sometimes it will take you longer than others. Sometimes when I'm running, it'll only take a few steps for me to pick up momentum and feel motivated because it's a great morning. Other days, like today, it's 93 degrees when I go for my run, and it takes me a good mile to start feeling motivated. But I just keep going. I just keep doing the movement. So when you feel that break, I don't know, I know because I've had this conversation with so many people on my 2.0, so I know that it has to be for other people too. But I've talked to so many of you this month and you're like, I just don't know how to get back. I don't know how to get back on track. I don't know how to get back feeling motivated. You just have to move. You just have to do what it takes and do it when it's not fun. And I promise it will become fun. But you have to do it when it's not fun. You have to do it when it's not easy, when you're not getting responses. But then, like Alissa talked about, the compound effect will come into play. And so as you keep doing the movement and doing the steps, then the compound effect builds. And then all of a sudden you have more people interested in the hair, skin, nails than you even realized you had talked to, because you just did the movement. You just did the movement. And suddenly you have people in your inbox that are like, I saw your post 3 months ago and I'm just now cashing in and I'm ready to order. So that consistency is what keeps you on the top of the peaks. And the great news about it all being about movement is that you can control your own movement. And so if you've ever felt like, yeah, I mean, I have this goal, but my team's not working at the right pace, or, you know, my team's volume isn't coming in at the rate that I want it to, or this new person that I signed just ghosted me and they haven't talked to me and I don't know where they are. It doesn't matter. None of that matters because you can't control it. And if you get caught up in the things that you can't control, that's when you'll feel paralyzed, overwhelmed, and miserable in your business. But when you focus on what you can control, which is just you moving, that's when you'll gain momentum, you'll gain motivation, you'll be having fun. And when you're having fun, suddenly your team really wants to get in on it because that looks like fun and they want to be part of it. So they'll start moving to try to catch up with your fun and your motivation that you're having. So it starts and ends with you. And you have to remember that the whole future of your business is only dependent on you. And that is the best possible news, because the person that I know I can count on is me. I know that I'm not going anywhere. I know that I've been here for 5 years and I'll be here for 5 more, and then I'll be here for 10 more, and then I'll be here for 15 more. I'll be here. I don't know if you're all going to be here, but I know that I'll be here. So I'm going to control my movement. And then if you want to come with me and you want to run with me, we'll do it. And we'll go to the top, and I will take you as far with me as you want to go. But I will still be here, and that's what I know that I can count on. And so every single one of you, you know that you can count on your level of movement. So you just keep that going. And then the last thing I wanted to say is stop speaking about what you don't want. Because Pam said that today, and I just thought it was so good. Stop speaking about what you don't want. Just move. Stop talking. Stop talking and start moving. Like, stop saying like, oh, my team's not doing this, or so-and-so's not doing this, or so-and-so ghosted me, or, you know, nobody's interested. Like, stop talking about what you don't want. Just do the movement. Just do the movement, and you'll start having a great time and you'll get the momentum. Okay, I wanted to circle back, and I want you guys to just tell your stories really quickly. And so, Rachel, I wanted to go back to you, and then if you wanted to add anything too, because you went first, and I feel like whenever I go first, then I think of things that I want to say. So I'm going to circle back to you.
I know, whenever you go first, you're like, wait, and then I just want to cut everyone off. I want to cut everyone off. But real quick, before I lose this real quick, what I wanted to say after just hearing all of you guys and just being like excited about it, the best thing about this, I say this all the time, every single Zoom, I'm like, the best thing, and it's always a different thing. There was a lot of great things, but like right now, I'm like, the best thing about this company, and it's like, it just makes me just like, you guys don't get penalized. Okay, technically you do in the sense of like low checks, high checks, but you guys don't get penalized if you had a bad week. And then like, let's say like I just got off of a bad week. Technically I just got off a bad week, got back from Florida, feel great. It's a new week for me. I literally started over July today. It was a new day. I didn't freak out and I wasn't like, holy crap, where have the 3 weeks gone? I'm going to get in trouble. Mark's going to bring me into his office. Like I'm going to get fired. It wasn't like that. It was like, I just get to lessen the load when I feel stressed out and paralyzed. I get control over that. And then as fast as I turn it off, I can turn it off. Or turn it on. I don't want you guys to go back and forth, but that just gets me so excited. I was like listening to all them talk, and I'm like, how great is this company that if you're freaking out right now, or you're stressed, or you're exhausted, slow down a little, but figure it out. And I just want to just end this real quick, and then I'll just tell my fast story. We just redid our whole schedule to where we opened up some days, because I was just a little tired of doing Zooms every night and missing time for my family, and I knew I needed to shift it. So we really cram-packed our Sundays and Wednesdays so that Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays were free. But you guys, coming off of this just kind of crappy week, I was like, something's got to give, and I am in control over my business, and I don't want July to end this way, and I am hungry to learn. So I opened my eyes, opened my ears, and I'm like, what can I do? I started asking questions. What's working for you? You're enrolling. I messaged these girls, and Mondays are supposed to be my day off, but I'm like, I can feel the slowdown, and I don't want it to happen. So you guys, don't be lazy. If something feels off in your business, be willing to learn, be willing to stay up a little later and get on a Zoom. Like that's what I love about like Claire, Alissa, and Brittney is like, they're not too good. You know, like we are still just as hungry to figure out what's working. I'm always asking questions. I know I'm annoying. I don't care. If something feels off in my business, I'm going to figure out what's going wrong. So I just encourage you guys to do the same. But anyways, guys, my short story, I'm about to celebrate 6 years next month, and I'm super hyped about that. But I just joined when I was 22, like literally days after my 22nd birthday. I wrote this in the chat, but I saw this just from the wrap being posted on my social media. One person posting about the wrap. And I was just this insecure mom, bought a wrap with my birthday money, could not afford to be a customer. So she got me on her team the same day, you guys. So I think that's just such a powerful part of my story, because they don't always count them out. I just didn't have a brain cell for it. And so I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I wanted a better life for my 8-month-old son. I did things out of order, but I wanted to contribute to the bills. I wanted to prove my spouse wrong. I wanted to help out, and he didn't think I could do it. So that's what pushed me. It was almost like I wanted a better future for my little baby, but that wasn't enough to drive me, because I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I encourage that to help you hopefully as well. If your why is like, well, yeah, I want a better life for my kids. Someone said this once, and they said, my why is not simply my kids, because my kids will love me unconditionally. Sometimes it has to be way, way deeper than that. So I just encourage you to figure out what your why is. But I joined for Zach and my family, and I just went diamond in 3 months. And that was honestly what changed everything for us. And we just kept going and going after seeing that comma in our paycheck. And we went ambassador a year ago, and that's when we opened up our 2.0. And now we're just doing it all over again. And it's been so so like just eye-opening. And I know that the other girls can say the same thing, but like this has just been different doing it this time. It's humbling, it's exciting, and we're just doing it all again. So that's just my story.
I love it so much. Okay, so my story goes a little like Rachel's almost. I was also 22 when I got started in my business, and I saw a post on Facebook, and it was someone who was building the business. And at that time in my life, I was a young mom living on food stamps, government assistance. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and just like having like the feel, I mean, if you're on here and you know what it's like to have like $5 stinking bucks in your bank account, like, you know, the stress of that, like in the pit of your stomach, it like honestly like was so paralyzing for me. I was losing my hair from stress. I was like always getting sick. I was so miserable. And after I saw her posting on Facebook, I was like, what the heck is this thing? And so it's not that I was skeptical. Here's the thing. I know that one of the questions is like one thing when it comes to telling your story, like, why were you skeptical? I was so broke, I almost couldn't be skeptical because there was like no other option at that point, you know? Like, I did ask a lot of questions, but I was never skeptical because I was like, I can only go up from here, right? And so I just dove in and I got started, and I became such a student of this because I was just so ready for something bigger for my life, and I didn't know what that was going to look like. So like when I say that, I didn't know that I would be a top earner, an ambassador diamond, like all of these things. I had no idea, but I knew that what I wanted had to have been better than where I was. Okay. And so when I went Ruby, that for me was a pivotal moment in my business where I was like, okay, I'm 22 years old. I just made a $313 paycheck. I was living on food stamps. I had to like stuff towels under my windows and under my doors when it was snowing because the snow would drift in. Like, that was my life. And making that first $300, that for me was a pivotal moment where I was like, I'm in. Like, I'm going all in. And I couldn't believe it when I made $300 stinking dollars. And that was like when I made the decision to never look back. I was never going to look back. And I promised myself that. And I made a commitment to myself. And then in that moment, I put charts up on my pantry door. I wrote down my debt and I pinned it up. I wrote down my goals and I pinned it up. And I had not a clue what I was doing. Okay. But I stayed committed to the process and I became a student, and I was okay with not being good at this. That's something maybe some of you have to be okay with, is not being good at this right now. I can promise you, none of us who have spoken tonight were good at this when we first got started. But we were coachable, and we were students, and we were willing to go the extra mile, and we would get on Zooms late at night when we're tired, and we were doing the things that we knew would help us grow to the next level. And that's why you're on here tonight. Right? You didn't just jump on just to jump on. You jumped on because you're ready for something more. You jumped on because you want to reap a harvest come the new year. You jumped on because you need to start making movements. You need to start getting an extra $300 in your bank accounts, right? And so that's when, for me, I went all in and I never looked back. In my life now is a life full of financial freedom. Okay. It's a life full of freedom of time. I'm at a friend's lake house right now with there's 4 of us women. We all do it works, and none of us are on the same team. And we've been here at the lake house, spending time together, talking, sitting by the pool, going on boat rides, like just dreaming and just being together. And they're not even on my team, right? And so that's what you have to remember, is like, there's a life waiting for you on the other side of your fear, on the other side of your movement, on the other side of everything that you want. There's a life waiting for you right there. And now you just have to stink and go for it. And you just have to stay committed day in and day out, and watch the ripple effect that happens. Okay. 1 week, you will see a ripple effect. 2 weeks, you will see a ripple effect. 3 weeks, you will see a ripple effect. And that goes on for years and years and years and years. But it starts with you taking action. you taking movement, just like Claire was talking about. But you guys have to stay so stinking focused, and you can have the life that I have. You can have the financial freedom, the freedom of time. You can give back. You can build a legacy. You can build a life. You can build your savings. If I can do it, any of you can do it. Okay. So that's just a little bit of me and my story. And I'm just so glad to be on here with you guys. What an honor to connect with so many incredible teams, 2.0 teams. This is rare air that you're breathing, to have top earners on a call so small like this. So I really hope that you're taking notes. I really hope that what you walk away from on a call like this is something so special for your business. And I'm just going to be praying that over every single one of you. I'm so excited for you guys who are writing your story. And I promise it will be so beautiful if you stay on your path of purpose and you start taking action every single day.
So I think it's kind of fun that I'm following Alissa, because she is the reason why I got started. And I've always very transparent that had she not sent me the message, I don't think I would have ever messaged anyone and admitted how bad I was struggling, because I was really, really good at hiding it. And so when you send those messages and you think you're being annoying, what I would tell you is, yes, they may get annoyed, but they won't once they need this. They realize they need this, and it ends up changing their life. So she sent me actually a cold message that said, hey girl, you should join my It Works business. And like, it sounds so silly, but it got the job done. It was simple, it was to the point, and I said no. I literally said no. Because I tried to rap and I didn't like it. So if you guys see people say like, oh, those products don't work, just know they're not saying no forever. You just have to start educating them on how they should be used and what results people can have. Because what happened was, I was a single mom and I was working. I had gone to dental school. I had gone through a divorce that I wasn't expecting. It kind of put me behind the 8 ball for many, many, many years. I had a lot of medical debt, and I paid all of my attorney fees. And it was like $10,000 just in attorney fees. So being a single mom, it was like I was $20,000, and that wasn't even counting my student loans. Okay. And so I'll never forget when she asked me to do this business and I said, no, thank you. It's because I didn't think I would be very good at it. It didn't even have anything to do with the product. It was because I thought like, okay, like still to this day, I get red and blotchy. I'm thinking, I can't even post a selfie. There's no way I can do what she's doing. But I continued to watch her, and 3 months later, I watched her earn a bonus. And here I was working 40 to 50 hours a week. My son has a father that's very involved and a stepmom that's very involved. And so I split time with them, right? Like I split the time. That's what he should do. But on top of working full time and then splitting the time with them, I felt like I had very minimal time. And so I was so sick and tired of working for the weekends and dreading Sunday nights because of Mondays. But to be very transparent, the reason why I joined is my son was very, very sick when he was little, and it was just asthma and allergies. But when your son gets a fever, you can't take him anywhere, because even though it's allergies, they're like, no fever, you can't bring him. And the first thing I always had to do was ask my mom, can you take a personal day, because I can't afford to take off. And something just didn't sit right there with me. If my child is sick, I should be able to take off. But I also knew, like, I think I saw, it was on Pinterest, I saw a quote and it changed my life. It said, what you're not changing, you're choosing. And I remember laying in my son's fire truck bed, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, my boyfriend doesn't know that I'm putting groceries on credit cards sometimes. And I didn't even have the $99 to get started. That's exactly what I messaged her about. It was 10:30 at one night on a Thursday. I'll never forget. And I said, I have 3 questions. Number 1, I don't have the $99 to get started, but I'm willing to put it on a credit card if you can promise I can make it back. Number 2, can I earn some free product? Because honestly, I want the stretch mark cream and the hair, skin, and nails, but because they're cosmetic products, I'm having a hard time as a single mom justifying them. But if I can join a business and earn them for free, I can justify that. And then my third question is, if I don't like this, can I quit? And my favorite question that I asked her was the last one, because her answer changed my life. The first answer was, yes, you'll make your $99 back, follow my lead. Yes, you'll earn a $100 shopping spree. And she said, if you're thinking about quitting, this probably isn't for you. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. And she said, give me 6 months of going all in. Well, one thing about me is when I decide to do something, for my entire life, I've been known as the quitter. And with this, I didn't want to be known as a quitter. And I want to give just a little side note that I don't talk about very often. Alissa made my announcement post, and a very well-known guy that's now a lawyer or a judge in town, very well-known, was the first person that commented, and he said, oh no, not you two. And I remember texting my boyfriend because he was out of town for work, and I remember texting Matt and thinking, I texted him and said, what did I just do? And he said, you already said yes now you have to go prove him wrong. And it was game on from that moment. It was fuel for my fire. And I want to wrap my story up a little bit with that comment. It was like a year later, a year and a half later, this judge in town goes on a golfing outing with Aaron Tweed's husband. They were alone, and he asked him this question. I don't want to get into this conversation, but do you guys make the income that the girls talk about on social media? And Kyle said, honestly, dude, would both our wives and us as husbands be full-time retired if it weren't? And he said, I'll never say another word. I let my success do all the talking. I didn't have to say a word. But here's what I will say. If you looked at my memories, you would see I had no idea how to take a picture. I honestly look like a grandma. When some people see my pictures, they're like, what? You're aging backwards. Like, what's happening? Honestly, it's confidence. I finally started taking a product that made me feel good. And instead of walking with my head down, I walked with my head up. Walking with your light shining is attractive to people, right? They're motivated by people's lights that shine, but they're also motivated by people that take all of their struggles and their pain and add purpose to it. And that's exactly what I did with everything that I had ever been to. The pain wasn't going to go away. I had to add purpose to it. But once I added purpose to it, people were inspired to chase their dreams like I was chasing mine. And then all of a sudden, I just started collecting all these bonuses. And within 10 months, I had tripled my dental income. But here's what I want to tell you this. And I know Alissa will not mind that I'm sharing this. I think, honestly, she'll be thankful I am because someone on here needs to hear it. Alissa did not build my business. You want to know how she mentored me? She led the way. I could go to her page and I could see her posts. Back in the day, it wasn't stories, but like we could post videos. She posted videos. She led the way by showing up, by doing the team trainings. Back in the day, they were calls. You'd call like a number and like you couldn't see anybody, right? Okay. She was a phenomenal leader because she led the way, but she didn't build my business. If you are waiting for someone to build your business, cut the cord and go do it. Because here's what's going to happen. Your check's going to be higher because you go and enroll the people anyways. That's how I was able to get to the top 100 very quickly because I went and built my own business. Okay. So, and I don't say that in a bad way. I say that to inspire you. Right now, something is in your mind. You've heard all these inspirational stories, but I guarantee how many of it, there's 40 of you. I guarantee that over 20 of you are still saying to yourself, but ... But ... There is something that you are still saying in your mind as to why you can't do this. And here's what I'm telling you. That but right there is keeping you from getting you from point A to point B. But here's what I want you to look at. Stop being selfish. And here's what I mean by that. Yes, God wants you to become the person that you're supposed to be to get to point A to point B, but think about all the people that are waiting for you to go save them, just like Alissa saved me. And when I say saved, I mean saved. You want to know why? Had I not joined this business, I don't think I would have ever gotten the confidence to walk inside a church because I was embarrassed that I was a single mom that had gone through a divorce and I thought I was going to be judged. But I joined this business, I gained all this confidence, and then my happy rear end walked into a church like, I'm going to own this place. And the next thing you know, I found a relationship with Jesus, and then I've been able to impact and inspire. So she saved me. Now I've gone out and I'm trying to do the same for others, but there are people out there that Alissa will never come in contact with, that Rachel will never come in contact with, that Claire will never come in contact with. You are the person. You're the person that's meant to save them. They're waiting on you. Cut the BS, write down what's holding you back, and go do it. They need you, just like someone went out and offered this to you. Here's what I want to end with. Thank you so much for getting on. I already know that we all have 2.0 teams bigger than 40 people, and at one point there was almost 60 on here. Thank you for getting on. Thank you for staying on. This is important to us because you are important to us. And just know that there are people out there that are waiting for you too. So we're so thankful you guys hopped on. See you, friends.